We adopted three children from Guatemala. They are not biologically related. Dalia was our middle child, and we got to bring her home from Guatemala when she was 6 months old. And it wasn't for a few years that we realized and got the diagnosis that she had MERRF syndrome. And it's interesting because my father always reminded me that that very day when we got the diagnosis in the hospital, as we were leaving, I turned to him and I said, I'm just glad we hadn't known. And what I meant by that was there was no question in my mind that if we had found out about a little girl in Guatemala with an ultra rare degenerative disease, we wouldn't have signed up. We would have said, oh, we'll wait for the next person on the list. And so I was so glad that we hadn't known, because by the time that Dalia was diagnosed, she couldn't have been any more my kid if she had my healthy genes coursing through her body. She was mine, we were hers, and we were meant to be together. I know that in my heart, and I also know in my heart that it would have been more than I voluntarily signed up for. And of course, we all know about people who go deliberately into situations of adopting children with special needs, fostering kids, all of these heroic things. That wasn't me. I was not that person. I was somebody who, thought that once we brought our children home, the hard part would be over. And instead, we set out on a journey that we literally couldn't have imagined. The way things progressed and what life looked like for us for the next decade and a half or so, is something we wouldn't have been able to imagine, and we wouldn't have signed up for it. And yet, it was supposed to be that way. I know that.